It's been a few days since Season 2 Reloaded dropped for DMZ, and with it brings quite a few interesting changes and secrets, so we're going to be going over every one of them in this video. We've got a lot to cover, so strap yourself in, like the video, and subscribe, but in no particular order. It'd be impossible to not talk about the new one-shot sniper event in DMZ. Available on Al-Mazrah and Ashika Island, but only until the 20th of March. In every DMZ game, the rainbow is going to be shining down on one of several different locations, and if you're the first team to get there, you'll be able to open a series of golden chests, which will have an incredible amount of high-tier loot, about 100 grand in cash, and of course, the one-shot sniper rifle. This is a Victus XMR blueprint called Shalala, and of course, it's green for St. Patrick's Day, along with the 4-leaf clovers. And yes, if you've not already had a chance to use this, it is a one-shot sniper, regardless of where you hit players on the body. It is also a one-shot on any AI apart from commanders, and this can take out vehicle tires, regardless of where the vehicle is shot. It is the most overpowered weapon in all of DMZ, and it can only be used during the match that you find it in. If you exfil with this thing, unfortunately, you will lose it when you go back to the main menu. However, there is actually a way to exfil with this, but there is a slight catch, however. So if you come across this weapon in-game, as long as you have a medium or large backpack to stow it instead of equipping it, you can exfil and actually keep this thing as a contraband item. Now, I did say there was a catch to this, so if we go back after exfilling, you can see it's here in my backpack and it's a sniper rifle, but the game literally just labels it as weapon. If we go to my contraband stash, I've actually exfilled with about 5 of these, and you can tell it is this because if we go and preview it, you can see it has the exact same camo and detailing of the one-shot sniper. However, this loses all the characteristics of it being a one-shot sniper if you take it into a game. So obviously, you lose the benefits of it being a one-shot sniper. However, you do get to have this amazing blueprint version of the Victus as a contraband weapon to use in games in the future. As of now, there's no way to unlock this blueprint or the camo itself, so this is the only way you can use it in-game. The sniper isn't one shot. It's only one shot if you find it from the rainbow in that particular game. And this next change is something which should have worked from the day that they were introduced in DMZ, but the exfil streak perks now work. Well, certain perks now work. I don't know why it's taken so long for these perks to actually work in DMZ, but as of now, fast hands, cold-blooded, and strong arm are perks that are confirmed to work. Meaning, if you go on exfil streaks by playing games and exfilling as well as doing a contract, you're going to earn perks that you'll be able to use in your next infill. Cold-blooded in particular is a big one that now works because now you will not be able to be seen on spotter scopes. I've also seen some comments that Ghost might now be working as a perk, which is really interesting for those that pop UAVs. I'm just happy that the perks now work in DMZ. But that's not the only huge positive change, because IW have changed the way that Building 21 keycards works, and now they can be used infinitely like they were when we first got them in Season 1. With the Season 2 update, every time you went into Building 21, it would use one of your keycards. This was a decision that players did not appreciate. I also saw this have a severe effect on the amount of time it would take for you to find a game, because players didn't feel that Building 21 had a point anymore. As long as you have one keycard in your stash, you can use that keycard infinitely. There's a quick other change. If for whatever reason you take a key into Building 21 with you, as long as you extract with it, you'll also keep it, since technically you didn't use it. Now, one change which is really confusing, and I'm still trying to get used to it, is the fact that AI in DMZ can now operate or arrive in a variety of different vehicles, no longer being just solely armored trucks. So whenever you saw them, you knew there was going to be AI in the back of it. Now the AI will roll around in different vehicles, even on jet skis and boats if you're near water, which can be extremely confusing because it's just something we need to get used to. But it's quite easy to tell when a approaching vehicle is AI or not just by how they move. You can just tell when it's AI. There's also been some updates to the various infill and exfil points on both Ashika Island and Al-Mazrah, so there'll be some new spawns that you've not seen before, as well as some new exfil points, which I think is really cool because it sort of mixes things up a bit, and especially if you're trying to work out the final exfil point on Al-Mazrah, for example, makes it slightly less predictable than it currently has been. And one thing that is really intriguing is the fact that some players have been finding new keys which are called Stronghold interior door keys. Now, these are unique in the way that they look. These are completely different to any other key that currently exists, and they don't save to your key stash when you exfil. I saw this on Twitter by Killer Stitch, so big shout out to you. I'll link his tweet below. He's pointed out that sometimes this key can reappear in people's backpacks and other matches randomly if they picked it up a few games ago. There's a chance that this key could be for something in Season 3 or beyond to open some new areas. Perhaps a secret room within a stronghold. Pretty interesting, but something we don't need to wait for that's here with Season 2 Reloaded is DMZ combat records. I know, I can't believe it either, but if you go to stats, you'll now see DMZ alongside Warzone and multiplayer. Fortunately, because this is launched with Season 2 Reloaded, this will not aggregate previous game history, but it is really detailed. You can see every single detail about the last 10 games you've had on DMZ, what map, how long you were in there for, how many dog tags you've extracted, weapons that you've extracted. It's all really, really cool. We've also now added hints and locations to where you use certain keys within the menu in your key stash before you put them on. Normally, you would only ever be able to see this if you brought the key into a game and then you open your invent and then choose the read function to see where exactly on the map it is. But now you can see it prior to going into the game, which I think makes a lot of sense because you want to plan where you're going to go before you go in. Now, an undocumented change which they haven't mentioned in patch notes is that buy stations and UAV towers on Ashika Island have now changed. Before, the locations always stayed the same for buy stations, but the UAV towers were rotating, but now they both have new locations. Now, there's also been a secret change to the total number of vehicles that can be in Al-Mazrah city. There is now less of them, meaning there's a more even distribution of vehicles throughout Al-Mazrah, because in that portion of the map, there were just so many vehicles. It was honestly quite crazy how many there were in comparison to the rest of the maps, and now there are less. I think it's a fair change, but it's just crazy that there were so many vehicles for so long. There's also been a change to DMZ with the AI where they now have a very small chance to drop upgraded weapons upon their death. Normally, it would be just a very basic version of a weapon like an RPK or a Vaznev as an example that would only have about 2 attachments, but there's a chance that these guys will now drop more upgraded attachment guns upon their death, which is obviously very useful if you come across it. We've also made a change to the way that the destroy supplies contract works, because usually when you complete it, what it would do is it reveal all the saves that are within a distance of the contract, but they've now changed it to reveal the 4 closest safes. So you won't be going as far to try and find where those safes are, which is a really good change. But one thing that isn't a good change, which seems to be a really funny bug, is that if you have war tracks enabled on your vehicles in DMZ, for some reason, these now play at full volume when you're in a vehicle, and it's pretty loud. So if you are the pilot of a chopper or the driver of a vehicle, you need to press N on your keyboard, which will stop the music. I don't know what button that is on controller. But yeah, the music is just as loud as the game, which is obviously a bit of an issue. So if you like the sound of that, then by all means go for it, but music is hella loud. And the last and final change is that a hunt squad contract seemingly now shows it's based on how many teams you've killed in your current game, with a new subtitle that appears. Oh, I can't 100% confirm this, but there is some new audio where the announcer will say something along the lines of attacking those operators has put a bounty on your head, as if to suggest that killing prior players has made the hunt squad contract choose you as its target. Most of these things were very minor changes and adjustments. There was nothing significant added with Season 2 Reloaded, as we saw with the launch of Season 2. Whilst RW are planning quite a lot of stuff for DMZ, it sounds like we aren't going to be getting it for a while, so I don't even know if Season 3 is going to be offering that much difference, seeing as missions will not be reset. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see exactly how to get the one-shot sniper and me completing the hardest solo mission in DMZ, you can click it and watch on your screen right now.